It is at the border that the real overland trip begins. The group has arranged for a private trip and joins the crew from Lhasa, comprising an experienced driver, their guide and a cook. A well-equipped four-wheel drive and a supply truck will now make the long and arduous journey to Kailash. It's a long 885-kilometer haul from the border town of Jammu to Kailash, and it will require 5 overnight stops. But there's plenty to see along the way. The Trans-Himalayan landscape makes for a dramatic contrast with the lush greenery of the Himalayan foothills to the south, thanks to the natural barrier formed by the Himalayas. The monsoon rains that water the Indian subcontinent turn back at the border. As a result, the Tibetan plateau is essentially a high-altitude desert. The prospects for agriculture are limited, and many Tibetans still rely on livestock to make a living in this harsh land. Tibet is not just remote, it looks like another world. The mountains are spectacular, the glaciated valleys are wide, and the horizon is vast and empty. For the most part, no houses, trees, or towns disturb the landscape. Here, in this infinite land, the mind reaches out to the horizon. Tibet is as big as it looks from the inside of a jeep, but there are barely 3 million people living here in a region twice the size of France. Prior to the Chinese annexation in 1950, trade across the southern borders was central to Tibet's economy, and nomadic Tibetans led caravans of yaks and sheep across high passes in the Himalayas to trade highland salt for rice from the south. Today, the caravan trade is dying, thanks to border restrictions and the easy availability of both Indian salt and Chinese rice. Some fear China's suppression of Tibetans, which resulted in mass killings and the wholesale destruction of monasteries during the Cultural Revolution of the 60s, threatens Tibet's very survival. But the Tibetan people are a resilient lot, and government resources have their own advantages, such as this road and infrastructural development throughout the region. Though traveling by car means a much more gradual ascent than by air, it is essential to take it slowly. Today is a rest day for the group, a rest day for the jeep, that is.
We're here at beautiful Nyalam. We arrived last night, went to bed, and woke up this morning to a hearty breakfast, and we are currently on our acclimatization.
Aruna, Gunjan and Neil have to get some practice while getting used to the altitude.
It was one hard climb back up because of the thin air here, and as you can see we are really breathless, but feeling really nice, really good. This environment is so charged with like bounty nature and streams flowing, and it's just, the camera cannot capture what we're seeing.
Back on the road, the weather seems to be mimicking how the group is feeling. But then the sky is clear, and so is the travelers' heads. Their excitement as they near Manasarovar Lake and Mount Kailash is palpable.
Driving to Manasarovar now, Lake Manasarovar, which is one of the highest freshwater lakes. And from there, we'll go to our base camp from where we'll start the circumambulation. All of a sudden, the weather has changed and it has started to snow, as you could see. So we're getting there, but we're getting there very slow because of the sudden change in the weather. See you at Manasarovar.
And who would begrudge them such excitement? Manasarovar has to be seen to be believed.
So we just saw Manasarovar Lake. We are about 15 minutes away from reaching but we're still able to see, and I wish you could see what we could see right now. All you see is the prettiest blue ever. So pretty. So eagerly awaiting these 15 minutes to go so that we can finally reach to Mansarovar.
The Tibetan plateau receives hardly any rain and less than 10 inches of snowfall a year. Yet here lies one of the richest freshwater lakes in the world, 4,610 meters above sea level. This incredibly beautiful lake, fed by the glaciers of the surrounding mountains, is 88 kilometers round and up to 70 meters deep. It is a haven for migratory birds such as bar-headed geese and Brahmini ducks, and along with its demon twin, Rakshastal, has immense hydrographic significance for the entire Indian subcontinent. The area around Kailash is a source to four of the longest rivers in Asia: the Indus, the Satluj, the Karnali, which is a major tributary to the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra. The spiritual significance of Mansarovar, the 8-petaled lotus, cannot be overstated. For Buddhists, it is where Buddha sits, teaching the doctrine to the serpents that inhabit the lake. For Hindus, it is the very soul mana of Brahma, the creator of the universe. To take a ritual bath in its icy waters is to wash away the sins of a lifetime.
Mansarovar, and it was cold, but refreshing. I'm so blessed to be able to do this.
Equally impressive is Rakshastal across a ridge to the west. It holds far less significance to pilgrims, and they usually head straight onto Kailash. But for shamans and the demon lake, described as black lake of poison in the shape of a hide conch made of human skin, it is a place of power. Whatever your beliefs, it is well worth making the trip to Rakshastal. Also worth seeing is the massif of Gurlamandatta to the south of these gigantic lakes at 7,700 meters, one of the highest mountains in the region. Mount Kailash, for its part, is hidden from the naked eye. Just as in the story told by the priest in Kathmandu, Shiva hid from the Pandavas when they sought his blessing. Neil's camera does a better job, and he's up and about early the next morning to view Kailash from the shores of the lake, determined to get his fill of the holy mountain. It's a sight to soothe the souls of believers and non-believers alike. The singular beauty of Mount Kailash and its lonely presence in the desolate Tibetan plateau must have played a part in convincing the devout that it was the abode of gods. The Hindu god Shiva is said to live on top of Mount Kailash, which is seen as the temporal counterpart of the cosmic center of the universe. Mount Meru. For Buddhists, the mountain is at the center of the mandala where the divinity Demchong resides. And the founder of the Jain religion, Rishabhantha, is said to have achieved spiritual liberation from the mountain. Its status as a haven on earth means the 6,714-meter mountain has never been climbed. This is in fact forbidden. Circumambulating Kailash or doing the Kora is a way of showing respect to the mountain and is the heart of a pilgrimage to the region. People have been coming here for thousands of years, and despite a period from the 1950s to the 1970s, during which the Chinese government stopped pilgrims from visiting, today thousands of pilgrims from across the region come to Kailash.